This New York franchise has redefined excellence. And for the third time in 4 years, the New York Empire are AUDL champions.
Completing a 30-game consecutive win streak, tying the 2013 and 2014 Toronto Rush.
It is amazing, like how dialed in they remain year after year. Where winning clearly does not get boring to them. I know it's getting boring to the rest of the league, the rest of the fans.
My framing, at least personally, was winning is hard, and you know it felt easy because we worked really hard the years past and had an insane talent gap between us and the rest of the league.
We knew we had the potential of still being a championship team, but it was going to look different.
The signings of Chicago's two new-ish big offensive stars in Jeff Weiss and John Lithgow. And Lithgow coming over after spending 3 seasons with the New York Empire, the last 2 of which coming home with UFA Championships. Jeff Babbitt is shipping up to Boston. The Glory have announced the signing of last season's MVP for the 2024 season. Ryan Osgar, while under contract and signed with the Empire for 2024, will be taking a sabbatical from the team for the time being.
We're a new team. We're not trying to recreate what happened years past as far as on-field play. Obviously the results we'd like to recreate, but trying to recreate everything else is just not going to happen.
I think the most effective way is like having a genuine discussion with the whole group and saying like, who are we? Who do we want to be? What values do we want to have?
Playing well and finding who we are as an individual unit, or as a unit and as individuals in context of the team is a different thing each year.
A lot of the times for the first game, it's just, you really have this chance to finally come together as a team. That was just more of a stage to still figure out like our identity.
You can't take winning for granted. It's not easy to do.
Here in Atlanta, the Empire 1-0 this year, 31-0 in their last 31 games.
They came out hungry and they didn't care who we were. A lot of teams play fearful against us just because of our story. And yes, some luck played into that, but I would say like maybe 5-10%.
We played about as bad as we possibly could at every juncture. Like our handler spacing wasn't good, our cutting was tough, our timing was off. We had a bunch of drops. They came down with a bunch of stuff that they wouldn't otherwise. They're a good team, and we lost to a good team who was playing well, and we played about as bad as we could, and everyone just kind of went, we're just going to put that out of our minds and say on to the next one, because that's not like representative of who we are and who we were, I think.
With any great player, you're trying to limit them. with him, at least how I played him, is like his superpower is dunking on people, and not to say that I can prevent him from dunking on me, but I can make him do other things or position myself in ways where other options seem more easier.
We just wanted to push him under and make him a thrower, and he's going to beat everyone deep. So if we can, make people think twice about throwing that, that would be a win for us. And it worked the first game when we played him up in Boston.
I've said this time and time again. He's like one of the reasons why I'm developed the skills I have on defense, because I guard him all the time. If I can get blocks on, some of the best receivers, imagine, a lesser receiver.
I started playing with a Christian youth group in high school and really enjoyed it. After that, I realized there was a high school league in Minnesota that I found a team to play on. Yeah, ended up enjoying the whole social aspect of it and connected with a bunch of people and continued on. I think the big field is advantageous for taller players, and we have a big team, tall team, so that is really helpful too. We have good timing because we have played together for a long time. Jagt makes everyone better. I think when you have somebody who can get the disc whenever we're in a jam, that opens up a lot of mental space for everyone else to cut sort of freely and perhaps not as precisely as maybe they should.
He's a person that can do it all. There's a few people that have this look in their eye when they lock in.
The field awareness and the throwing ability and timing, it's just all way easier to play with good players. So he'll be thinking about things and like drawing up drills for us at practice. Trying to maximize the efficiency and advantage you have in those positions is something Jagt is really, really good at.
The Empire.
That was a good first half, right? Adjustments that we need to make. One, once Jeff doesn't want to make a bunch of tons of speed bursts, right? And keep constantly running in, out, in, out, in, out.
We kind of have a hive mind when it comes to developing the strategy for defense. A lot of the top players are talking to each other. Like, what are we thinking? What are we seeing? How we can best position people in the right way. And it's not really left up to just one person.
One, two, three.
Just have some juggernauts on the team, and maybe I would say 60% talent and 40% strategy.
When we play against teams like DC and Boston, it can be really tough. Philly are no slouches either. So when we're trying to play good ultimate, playing against those teams makes it really tough. And those are the teams that we're trying to beat to get to championship weekend and win a championship. I mean, our defense has a lot of strong points, Antoine being one of them.
In high school, all my friends played, but I didn't. I played just football and basketball. That was like a Tuesday or Wednesday practice, and I fell in love with it. A few days later, they were going to a weekend tournament, and I went with them, and that was sophomore year, and my senior year, I quit football, basketball, and track just to play Frisbee all the time. So.
Come on,
had a lot of turnover from the 23 to 24 season. You know, we should have probably won against Boston. DC was playing really, really good Frisbee towards the end of the year, and it would have been tough to beat them, I think.
Why does it rain on down when I'm waiting for the sunshine?
It felt like we were surviving. The Montreal game, we would put them away by like 8 or more, and I think we only won by like 2 or 3. We were just like, this is not the Empire we're used to be playing. We're used to being full of control, kind of crushing people's spirits.
To walk through our losses, we lost to Atlanta in a game that we played about as bad as we could. You know, c'est la vie. We lost to Boston in a game that we were close to. We lost to DC in a game that we were really close to. So I think none of those were like 5-alarm fire, you know, everyone start losing your minds. We all knew that we had a lot of room for improvement. It's a long season. As long as we made the playoffs, we'd have a chance to get things done when it actually mattered. The close one against Phoenix, a bunch of us were gone for various life commitments.
Breaks Philadelphia's heart once again as the Empire knock off the Phoenix 21-20.
We were just in their heads, I think. We played the Shred and we played Minnesota. I think we also match up well against those teams. Like, we're just more intense on defense and had better presence.
Go out there and do it, all right? New York on 2, New York on 2, 1, 2, New York!
Yeah, they played better than us that game. I think, you know, they're an excellent team. They got a bunch of Worlds players, as do we, but they played great ultimate that game. Again, I think perhaps we were a little too big for our britches after blowing out the other teams and thinking, all right, we're back, we're gonna crush.
They don't have a particular, like a system where they rely too heavily on one person. I mean, I think probably their best player that year was Johnny Monks. You know, he's been like kind of their quarterback or one of their quarterbacks for the past few years, and he's, especially this season, he's really come to his own, like, not only with his throws and decision making, but like, I never considered him as a fast player, but there were times where he was showing some athleticism. I was like, wow, like he's dangerous in many ways. You know, I think the impact of losing Babbitt particularly was underestimated. He was very much the soul and the heartbeat of the team.
John Lithia, who was an incredible player during our really strong runs. You can't replace those guys. I think we tried to shift our offense a little bit and try to plug in some new pieces that would fill those roles in a way. I think the results showed, like, we didn't have as much dynamism downfield. Even though we have a lot of good players, it's still tough to play as dynamically as we had the years past. Going into the game, I think we started off feeling optimistic, but cautiously so again. They're a good team. We're 1-1. I think it could go either way, and we were thinking we got to lock in to win this game.
But this time he really got involved. Not only got deeps, but big unders. Broke the marks several times, broke my mark several times. And they also connected well down with other people like Tyler Chan and Tanner Johnson.
Yeah, and then we just ended up losing. We had a few choice mistakes towards the end of the game that, again, I think were bummers, but it happens. Like, I've had my share of throwaways in games where it doesn't happen at a good time. So yeah, it just happens. It was a bummer to lose that one. Jeff came up with an incredible play at the end of the game.
No timeouts for New York, and Jagt takes the deep shot, and it's going across the sideline. That will stop the clock with 12 seconds to go. Johnson go to Sedot, marked by Brownlee. 5 seconds. Tanner Johnson go, floats into the end zone. It's a battle at the buzzer, and you better believe Jeff Babbitt lives for the moment. He's got it with 4 seconds to go. There is still time, at least there was a second ago on the clock. New York walking back to the line.
How do I describe the season? Disappointing, I think I would describe it.
Well, disappointment is a word I would use, but at the same time, I would also say, like, appreciate it as well. I think a lot of people had to do a lot of growing and had to be uncomfortable for a long period of time.
Winning a game versus DC would have felt really nice. Beating Boston would have felt good. You know, making it to championship weekend would have been awesome. I think the thumbs up aspects were like trying to find ourselves as a new team without some of the like leaders that we've had in years past, and Jeff and Oscar and Lithio.
You know, I would like to see like a team-wide discussion again about identity. Some new players being put into leadership roles.
The things that I'm looking forward to for the 2025 season are, yeah, just improving our dynamics as a team and making everyone feel welcome, improving our fundamentals on the field, and yeah, getting ready to win again. I don't know exactly how that is going to work, but being a good team is certainly a great way to start.